Well, with us into the studio to elaborate on a special effort that brought U.S. firefighters here to Israel to assist these Israelis who are battling the blaze. We have Eitan Charnoff, spokesperson for the Emergency Volunteer Project, and Jeff Ellenbogan, a Baltimore County firefighter. Jeff, let's just start with some of your experiences. What brought you here, and what have you seen? What have you experienced since having been here?
Well, the first thing that we did is we heard over in the United States about what has been going on. It's been a tremendous amount of fires, and I'd like to emphasize it's fires plural, as you guys both said very clearly. It's fires in spots here and there and everywhere. That's a lot of work. It's having to rush from one location to the next, work in the dry heat with a hot blaze and smoke, going from point to point, and dealing with the terrorist aspect of it. So when we heard about that, we offered our services and said, we have a group of people that are able and willing to come over at a moment's notice to be an assistant to you here in Israel whenever you're ready and if you need.
Jeff, we've actually heard today there was an Israeli firefighter who was injured by the blaze. So there is some risk in dealing with the situation down there.
Oh, absolutely. Every fire is a risk, but these are fires that have a fair bit of wind behind them. And this is dry earth with lots of fuel, the dry grasses and trees that are there. So the fires move quickly, and they can always change direction. So that absolutely can and does happen. And this firefighter, it's sort of personal to me. I work with him, and
you know him personally.
I know him personally. I've been working with him for the last 2 days. He's a terrific guy, and he's also an exceptional firefighter. And so it's personal as well. And we all know, all firefighters know, that going into something like this, that the risk is there. Some of the fires are small and easily manageable, but a lot of them are severe and cause an amount of damage and danger that we're aware of.
Eitan, Israel is usually known for sending delegations outside to the world to help in natural disasters and other disasters. But talk us through how complicated it was to coordinate this effort to help stop, to some extent, the fires in the south.
Yeah, so the truth is, to organize this effort wasn't complicated at all, because the Emergency Volunteers Project has been in operation since 2009. We work in extremely close cooperation with various authorities in the Israeli government. Most importantly, in this context, the fire service, with which we have a tremendously intimate relationship. We've also been spending years training and recruiting American firefighters specifically for this purpose, bringing over Israeli instructors, again, in collaboration with the fire service, to the States to train them, flying them over here for training. Jeff, for example, this is his third time here. In the past, I believe, 8 months. He's been here once for training, a second time just to volunteer and get to see how things work, and now, a few months after that, he's here deployed. And so when, you know, the moment of truth comes and we're called into action in an operational capacity, everything is seamless. The fire department knows exactly what to do with our guys, and in fact, they're treated as regular Israeli firefighters in every sense of the word. Wherever that truck goes, no matter what the danger, these guys are part of it.
Jeff, I have to ask you, there's a history here of firefighting in Israel, and the firefighters in this country who have had to deal with some serious blazes have said from time to time that they don't get the full support from the government they need in terms of equipment, in terms of manpower. Do you see on the ground there that they are being given all the resources they need to fight these fires down in the south?
Tell you the truth, I don't think I'm in perspective to really have that an answer to that very important broad question. I can tell you that the people are extraordinarily capable and really well-trained firefighters. And when we go out as a crew, I feel that we have the equipment that we need and we have the capability that we need. As to whether that, how that plays out in a broad country, I would probably defer that to someone who knows better.
Did you ever see any kind of arson attacks similar to this using kites and balloons elsewhere? Is that something within your experience as a firefighter you have dealt with or even heard of?
Absolutely not. And in fact, when I first heard it, I said, come on, that can't be right. And it almost sounds childish. But since we've been here and we actually have seen balloons flying over from positions that we've taken along the eastern border of Gaza and seen the fires that have occurred and looked at these devices with the police and with various other Army resources, I now really have an appreciation that these are serious threats and substantial threats, and we've seen the fires that they cause. So this is entirely new to me and to really almost all American firefighters. The concept of wildland fire, which they cause, is not new at all, but the method is just almost unheard of.
Eitan, how many volunteers are there like Jeff who have arrived recently to help in these efforts?
Yeah, so let's take a step back first. The Emergency Volunteer Project has trained almost 500 firefighters in the U.S. over the past several years for these type of deployments. Right now, on this mission, we have 10 firefighters part of the deployment, and this deployment has been sponsored by the Jewish Federations of North America. It's also important to point out that we have another 45 firefighters on standby if the need should arise.
Well,
we hope it doesn't.
We hope it doesn't, but of course, we just want to say, Jeff, certainly the people in Israel and the people in the South are grateful that you and your comrades have joined them in this effort. Eitan Charnoff, Emergency Volunteer Project, we should definitely plug that, and Jeff Ellenbogan from the Baltimore County Firefighters, thank you for being on the Rundown.